everybody? What's going on? It's me. It's your boy, Joe Nyamwange, and I'm going to be your host tonight. Welcome to our very first episode of Let's Talk Money. Yo, the wait's been here. We've been talking about this, but it's finally time to really get in and see our people win. Now, look, we got a lot of good content today. I just want to first just kind of anchor on how we got here in the first place. Now, y'all know last year we launched Nyamwange Investments. And I launched this because, honestly, I was tired of seeing our people lose financially. And I wanted to dedicate my work and my life to make sure that we can close the economic gap, the wealth gap for our people, because we were losing. And I wanted to see us win. And so we launched this Nyamwange Investments, and we had our flagship product and our Financial Legacy Academy. But here's the deal. Last year, man, when we was trying to get things ready for 2022, we asked folks like, yo, what do y'all really want from our investment company? Like, what do you want from Joe and his team? And the feedback was overwhelming. Y'all said, yo, we need two specific things. One is we need content, and not just any content, because there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. We need content that's relevant to our financial situations as African Americans. And the second thing I said is we need community. Like, we're not trying to be on an island. We're trying to win together as a unit. And so, look, man, I listened to what you had to say, and I responded. And so 2022 is going to be the year of content, y'all. It's going to be the year of content, and it's going to be the year of a community. And that's where we started Let's Talk Money in our Financial Legacy community. Now, look, I did something different. I told y'all we're going to stream everything to community. But just for this particular episode, I wanted to make sure that I streamed it across all my Facebook platforms, just to make sure I'm giving folks a taste of what's going to be going down. But moving forward after this, everything's going to be in the community. Y'all can make sure y'all go register at community.financiallegacyacademy.org. And I'm telling y'all right now, yo, like, look, we're putting content in there. It's a free group of people that look like you and me. We're growing fast. We're 200 plus people, and we're looking to really get this to at least 1,000 people by the end of 2022. It can happen, but we're going to need your help. So here's the two things I need from y'all. Number one, let your boy know you're here. Just say we here in the chat, in the comments. Let me know y'all here and y'all listening, number one. Number two, right now, if you could share this thing, please share it now. Get some people on here. People who always complain about money, or better yet, people who always talk about sports and other stuff, but they ain't talk about the bag. What's up, Myron? I see you, my guy. People who like get everybody here. It's time this is a family meeting for our people, man, because it's time for us to start winning. Now, look, I wanted to kick this particular meeting off, kick this series off with credit. And the reason why I wanted to talk about credit, because people don't really have an understanding of how credit literally impacts everything that we do. People want to talk real estate. They want to read all this cool reels, but if you don't got your credit right, then we're gonna have a problem. So look, guys, this is our time. We really gonna make this happen. Myron, I see you says you can't share. It's probably because you're in the community. You could share it from, if you're watching on my personal Facebook group, you could share it from there. But anyways, we going into credit, and there's no other better person I could call to have this conversation with credit than one of my good friends, someone I even call my brother. He's an author. He's been featured on ABC, NBC. This brother is a guru. He's one of my mentors that I go to when it's time for me to get my business credit and my credit right. And I asked him to say, yo, listen, go kick it off. So here's the flow. He's going to come. He's going to present to us. He's going to talk to us. My ask for y'all is get engaged. He's going to talk for us. And then for a while, I'm going to get Luke back in. We're going to have a good Q&A. We're going to do this for between now and 7 o'clock. So, all right, man, I'm going to welcome my boy Varney from the studio, and we're going to see you in a bit.
Joseph, and the Nyamwange Foundation, the Financial Legacy Foundation. I thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you for that great introduction. I'm not going to hold you guys up too long tonight, so I have a quick presentation for you guys. All right, and at the end of this presentation, you guys will have a true understanding how credit works, and you guys can even implement every strategy that I'm giving you to even increase your scores, your credit scores, at least 60 to 90 points. So I am going to ask you guys to participate with me. At the end of it, we're going to have a live Q&A with myself and Joseph, simply just asking questions. Whatever questions that you guys have, make sure you guys save those questions at the end of it. But during my presentation, I am going to ask you guys some questions. And towards the end of it, if you guys stay towards the end of it, we actually have some good bonuses and different gifts that we're going to give you guys. So make sure you guys stay at the end of it. Make sure you guys participate throughout the presentation. We're going to be asking you guys to make some comments in the Facebook community, and even in the live community as well. Okay, so I want you guys, please make sure that we're paying attention. I'm a huge believer in your attention will affect your retention. So make sure you guys are simply paying attention. Make sure you put down whatever you're doing. If you're driving, whatever, make sure that you guys are paying full attention. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into my presentation. All right. Just let me know if you guys can actually see my screen here. Joseph, can you jump in and just let me know if you guys can see my presentation?
We can't see it yet. Go ahead and once you pull up your presentation, I'll bring it on screen.
Can you see it now?
I see yours. Yes, I can see it now.
Okay.
Just go into presentation mode.
Okay. All right. You guys good?
Yep, good to go.
All right. Okay, so tonight we're going to have a true understanding of credit, different things that you guys can do to make sure that you improve your credit score. Like I said, by the end of this presentation, you guys are going to learn the different loopholes, different things you can do, how you can increase your scores, different strategies that you guys can go ahead and implement to increase your score to at least 60 to 90 points by the end of this presentation. All right. Okay, so who am I and why should you guys listen to me? Okay, my name is Varney, Jallah. I'm the founder, owner of Structured Credit Solutions. I spent a decade in the financial industry. I am an author. I am a father. I'm a husband. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Jasmine Jallah. She goes by the name of Major Jallah. She blessed me with two beautiful kids, Reagan and Varney II. Okay, so now what comes to mind when you guys hear the word credit? What comes to mind when you guys hear the word credit? So again, you guys going to participate with me tonight. Type in the comment field or type in the Facebook. What comes to mind when you guys hear the word credit? Go ahead, type in the comment field for me, guys. What comes to the mind when you guys hear the word credit? Okay, so while you guys are typing in there, there's a few things that comes to mind when I hear the word credit. Okay, first thing that comes to my mind is leverage and trust. Okay, and 80% of our adult milestones that we have that we're going to accomplish is simply going to be based around credit. Okay, if we want to purchase a home, they're going to check our credit score. If we're applying for a job, they're going to check your credit score. If you want to apply to go ahead and for auto loan, they're going to check your credit score. If you're applying for insurance, they're going to check your credit score. So 80% of our adult milestones that we have to accomplish is going to be based around credit. Okay, what is not credit? Okay, so what is not credit? This is something that I see all the time. A lot of people will come and simply say, hey, I'm paying my utility bills, I'm paying my phone bill, that should be helping my credit score. I'm paying my light bill, everything and so on and so forth. This should be helping my credit score. That is not helping your credit score. Okay, these items are not helping your credit score. All right, so if you guys look on here right now, paying your utility bill, your phone bill, your layaway plan, your daycare expenses is not helping your credit score. And I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, what exactly is going on? If I know Experian offer, different utility bills that you can add on there. Towards the end of my presentation, I'm definitely going to get more into details on that, why that Experian boost is not a good thing to add to your credit profile. Okay, how does your credit score affect you? All right, again, like I said, if you're applying for a job now, 29 out of the 50 states will check your credit score. Okay, if it comes down to the determining factor on if I have my college degree, I have the same experience, and Joseph and myself are going in for a position. If we both have the same college experience, we both have the same management experience, guess what it's going to come down to? The employer is going to check our credit score, and that right is their determining factor if you're stable and if you're someone reliable. Okay. All right. Again, when you're applying for insurance, the number one determining factor on how much your insurance premium is going to be your credit score. Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys this, and again, you guys can type this in the comment field for me. Okay. We have two drivers. We have driver A with a DUI with great credit, and we have driver B with poor credit and a perfect driving score. Which one do you guys think will pay the most? Which one do you guys think will pay the most in their premium? The DUI driver with great credit, or the driver with perfect driving history and poor credit? You guys type that in the comment field for me. Is it going to be driver A or is it going to be driver B? Who is going to pay the most? All right. Guess what? Driver A with the DUI would pay less than driver B with the perfect driving record, simply because driver A has a higher credit score, and the number one determining factor on how much your insurance premium is going to be your credit score. All right. If you want to go to the bank and ask for financing for a loan for auto loan or mortgage, the number one determining factor is going to be your credit score. Okay, how does your credit score works? Okay, so your credit score ranges from 300 to 850. Okay, these are the different range. From 760 to 850 is considered excellent. From 500 to 579 is considered very poor. Okay, so these are the different ranges that we have here. All right, and now this is where I'm going to need you guys to take out your pen and paper. I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and gain 550 points. How you have full control over your credit score, you can gain 550 points. Okay, this right here is the most important part. So make sure you guys take out your pen and paper, and I'm going to show you guys how you can gain 550 points. How you have full control over 550 points, not the man, not the system. I'm going to show you guys how you have full control over 550 points. Okay, if somebody could type this in the comment field, I want you guys to remember this. You guys remember anything for this presentation, remember this: 35, 30, 15, 10, and 10. 35, 30, 15, 10, and 10. Okay, and your credit score is breaking down into your payment history, your debt ratio, your average age, your age of your credit file, your mix of credit, increase. All right. So let's go and get into it. How you guys have full control over that 550 points. All right, let's start with payment history. Payment history is 35% of your scores. And within this category, you have 192.5 points. Okay, so if you have on your credit profile, you don't have any late payments, guess what? You just gained 192.5 points. Okay, but again, this is the biggest factor of how your scores are calculated. It's 35% of your scores. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're not missing any payments. I've seen client scores drop anywhere between 40 to 60 points just for one late payment. So in order to make sure that you're capitalizing and you're taking full control over 192.5 points, make sure you set up all your monthly payments on auto payment. Okay, again, life can happen. You can be on vacation, you don't have access to our internet, and you can end up missing a payment. It's not worth it. So make sure you set up all your monthly payments on auto payment. And that way you can go ahead and take full control over this 192.5 in the payment history. Let's move on to the next one, your revolving debt ratio. Okay, this is about 30% of your scores. In this category, you have 165 points in this category. 165 points in this category. Okay, so a lot of people think like, hey, as long as I'm paying my credit card balance down to 30%, or I'm keeping my utilization at 30%, I'm actually in a good category. I'm actually in a good space. You're absolutely wrong. Okay, you want to make sure you keep your utilization under 10%. If you're paying your credit card balances down to 30% every month, it's more like saying I'm okay with a C. Okay, but once you can get your credit card utilization under that 10%, that's more like an A plus. Okay, so make sure. I know there's a lot of myths out there. A lot of people think, hey, just paying my credit card balance down to 30%, I'm good. You're leaving a lot of points on the table, and in that category, you have 165 points. All right, your credit age, okay, this is about 15% of your score. You have 82.5 points in this category. There's not really much you can do when it comes down to your credit age. It is something that simply grows over time, okay? But in this category, you have 82.5 points in this category. All right, your mix of credit, you have 55 points in this category. So you want to make sure your credit profile, you have a good mix of credit. You want to make sure you have some installment credits on there. You want to make sure that you have some revolving credits on there. And yeah, so you want to make sure you have a good mix between installment credit and revolving credit. And that's how you can take advantage of that 55 points in that category. All right, inquiries. All right, this is 55 points in this category, which is 10% of your score. So you want to make sure you're not just applying for everything that you see. Okay, so in order to take advantage of this 55 points, you want to make sure you keep your inquiries as low as possible. Okay, so each time you go to a bank, you apply for a credit card, they're going to run your credit score. They have to check your credit score. That's considered inquiry. Each time you go apply for a loan, or you go to a dealership, you apply for an auto loan, you apply for a mortgage, you're going to have to check your credit score, and that would actually take away from your 55 points. All right, good credit versus bad credit. Okay, so if you look at this picture here, we have two individuals that are applying for the same auto loan for $20,000. Okay, you have the client with the good credit, 5 years, 60 years, they're paying 6%. The client with the bad credit, they're paying 26%. So over the lifetime of the loan, and the difference in interest between the good credit and bad credit, this client is actually saving $12,730. And this is actually one of my favorite, one of my success stories from one of my clients that joined my program a while back. She came into my program. She was paying $500 a month for an auto loan. So once we were able to actually put together a game plan and help her increase her credit score, she was able to refinance that auto loan. She went from paying $500 a month to $300 a month, and the $200 that she was able to save, she was actually able to put that into a 529 college savings account for her daughter. So now, once her daughter turns 18, she will have that resource available that she can be able to tap into and be able to cover her, college expenses. All right. So this is another diagram that we have here on how your credit can affect how your credit can actually affect your if you're applying for a mortgage. Okay, if you see the top diagram here 760 to 850, which is an excellent range, this client is going to get a 4.25, and once you get towards the bottom of it, this client is getting 5.8. So that's actually a huge difference in how much their monthly payment. So the difference between the client with the best credit compared to a client with the 620 to 639, they're actually roughly about $200 a month that you're saving over a 30-year mortgage. We're talking about a few hundred thousand that you're going to be able to save. All right, and this right here is actually is your FICO score. So, and this is something that I get a lot of questions about. Hey, Varney, I went to Credit Karma. I saw my credit score on Credit Karma is this, but once I went ahead and applied for a mortgage, the lender came back and said, hey, I didn't qualify, and they gave me a whole different set of scores. Okay, so this is something that you guys want to make sure that you remember. Credit Karma is giving you what they call Vantage scores, and your lender is going to use what they call your FICO scores. So your Vantage scores is usually found on platforms like Credit Karma, usually platforms where you can pull the information yourself for free. And those scores are used more for informational purpose. Okay, you want to use those scores simply just to track, make sure that your credit profile is great, make sure you don't have any collections on there, making sure your utilization balance is down. But once it's time for you to apply for an auto loan, you want to apply for a mortgage, you want to apply for a credit card, you want to make sure you pulling up your FICO scores. Okay, so in this diagram right here, you have your FICO 5, your FICO 4, and your FICO 2, which is your mortgage scores. Okay, so if you ever want to apply for a mortgage, before you go to a lender, you want to go to myfico.com and pull up your mortgage scores. So out of these 3 scores here, the lender is going to use what they call your middle score. So they will cancel out your highest score, which is 730, and they will cancel out your lowest score, which is 724, and your middle score would be the 728. Okay, so you guys remember, please don't use Credit Karma if you're in the process, you're trying to buy an auto loan, you're trying to get a mortgage. Make sure you go to myfico.com and pull up your auto loan scores from there, your mortgage scores from there, even your credit card scores from there. Okay, so now we're going to get into a little game I'm going to play with you guys, which is called Credit Myths and Truths. All right, and again, I want you guys to participate with me. Type in the comment field, closing my unused credit cards will improve my credit score. True or false? Closing my unused credit card will improve my credit score. True or false? Type it in the comment field for me. This is actually false. And this is something that I see all the time. Clients will come in and say, hey, I was no longer using the card. I stopped using the card. So I just call up the credit card company and I told them to go ahead and close it out for me. That is one of the worst, biggest mistakes that you can ever make. Do not close out unused credit cards. Okay. That is simply going to affect your credit age. And it also will affect your utilization and also your credit mix. So you definitely don't want to close out any unused credit cards that you have. Simply if you're no longer using the credit card, simply go ahead and pay it off and just add a small subscription bill on there. Add your Netflix, add your Apple Music, and just simply set up an auto payment to pay it off in full every month. So let's move on to the next one. When I get married, my credit report will merge with my spouse's. True or false? When I get married, my credit report will merge with my spouse's. True or false? This is absolutely false. Okay. Once you get married, that right there doesn't necessarily mean that your credit profile will merge with your spouse. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. Using a debit card will help build your credit score. Now, this is right here is my favorite. Using a debit card will help build my credit score. True or false? Using a debit card will help build my credit score. This is absolutely false. Okay. And this is the reason why I say this is my favorite. This is something that I hear all the time, even in our community. A lot of time, a lot of people say, hey, I don't like using credit card. Credit card is the devil. I don't want to be in debt, and so on and so forth. Believe it or not, if you don't have any revolving credit on your credit profile, you're missing out on 65% of your scores. So simply thinking like, hey, I'm using my debit card, that should help build my credit score. That's absolutely false. In order for you to build your credit profile, you have to have some revolving credit on your credit profile. If you don't have any credit cards on your credit profile, you're missing out on 65% of your scores. All right. Paying your credit card balance down before the reporting date will help improve your credit score. Now, this right here is a gem that I'm going to give you guys. Okay. True or false? Paying your credit card balance down before the reporting date will help improve your credit score. True or false? This is absolutely true. Okay. If you guys don't remember anything from this presentation tonight, I want you guys to remember this. Okay. I want you guys to remember two dates. Okay. Your reporting date and your due date. Your reporting date and your due date. Your reporting date is what the credit bureaus use to calculate your credit score. Your due date is what the banks use to calculate how much interest you're going to pay. Okay. So here's a strategy that you guys can use to actually help improve your credit score. Okay. So going forward, instead of you waiting until your due date to pay your credit card balance or to pay off your credit card balance, simply contact your credit card company, ask them, say, hey, what day of the month do you guys report to the credit bureaus? If they come back and say, hey, we report to the credit bureaus on the 15th, make sure by the 15th, your credit card utilization is under that 10% or even paid off. Okay. And by the due date, make sure you pay your credit card balance in full, because now you don't have to worry about paying interest. Okay, by just implementing the strategy right here, you can easily see your scores increase at least 20 to 40 points. Okay, so you want to make sure that you pay off your credit card balance by the reporting date and don't wait until the due date. Okay, once you start carrying your balance over from month to month, that's when that high interest on the credit card starts to kick in. Okay, so and that's another thing that I hear all the time. Hey, I don't want to deal with credit cards, but simply we just don't understand how to use it. Okay, so if you're using the credit cards the right way, you're paying off the balance every month and not carrying the balance over from month to month, you don't have to worry about paying the high interest. If you're paying off your credit card balance by the reporting date, which is the date that you use to calculate your credit score, now you can continue to see your scores increase every month. 30% is a good credit card utilization. I think I gave you guys this answer to this already. Type it in the comment field. 30% is a good credit card utilization. I gave you guys this answer to this already. So everybody should get this one right. %30 is a good credit card utilization. This is false. All right, so you have to remember, again, 30% of you're paying your credit card utilization down to 30% every keeping it at 30%, thinking like, hey, I'm good. I'm paying it. My credit card utilization is at 30%. You're actually leaving a lot of points on the table, guys. You're leaving a lot of points on the table. Okay, 30% is simply you're saying, hey, I'm okay with a C. You want to make sure that you pay your utilization under 10%. The sweet spot is between 1% to 7%. And remember, you want to contact your credit card company, ask them what day of the month do they report to the credit bureaus, and make sure by that date your utilization is under that 10%. And I promise you, if you start implementing that strategy right away, you're going to start to see your scores increase every month. Simply just by making that small switch, paying your balance down under 10%, keeping your utilization under 10%, and simply paying your paying your credit card balance by the reporting date, you will definitely start to see your scores increase from there. All right. And this right here, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Okay. I want you guys to type this in the comment field for me. FCRA. FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. All right. And simply this right here, the FCRA law it was designed to protect you as a consumer. Okay, so simply what that FCRA law is simply stating that everything on your credit report has to be 100% accurate. Not 90%, not 95%, not 98%, 100% verifiable and 100% accurate. Okay, so you might have an old Sprint bill on your credit report that simply have your name misspelled. Guess what? That's not 100% accurate. It might have might have the wrong date that you open up that Sprint bill. That's not 100% accurate. It might have the wrong balance on there. Guess what? That's not 100% accurate. Now you can simply use this law right here, the FCRA law, simply to get that item removed from your credit report. And I feel as though a lot of us don't like to look at our credit report. We simply say, hey, my credit is bad, so I'm not looking at it. So you might have an old item on your credit report that's in violation of this FCRA law right here that can easily be removed with a simple letter you send off to the credit bureau saying, hey, this information is violating my FCRA rights. Please remove it from my credit report. And that can boost your score to a good 40 to 60 points simply by getting that collection account removed from your credit profile. So guys, but make sure that we are checking our credit. We are checking our credit report. So another thing you can also look for and have removed from your credit report is something on your credit report might be outside of the statute of limitation. Okay, the federal statute of limitation is 7.5 years. So you might have an old Verizon bill on there that's outside of that statute of limitation. But again, if you don't check your credit report, there's no way for you to know if it's outside of that statute of limitation. And again, you can use this law right here, the FCRA law, to get that item removed from your credit report. All right. So that's my time, guys. I didn't want to stay here long. So I definitely want to open up the floor where we can go ahead and then allow you guys to ask us some questions. I feel as though that's a good way for us to be able to learn as well. So I wanted to get on here to do a quick presentation for you guys, and then that way we can get on here. We can open up the floor for Q&A. I'm pretty sure Joseph's going to have some questions for me as well.
Yeah. So first off, man, before guys, get your questions in the comments right now. Just load them up. Yo, we got a brain trust in Varney, man. This brother knows credit in and out. This is something that's impacting us. So please, this is the time to get your questions asked now. We're going to address all of them. But before we even do that, Varney, man, let me just salute you, brother. That was a great presentation, man. Very detailed. I learned some stuff. My wife's texting me talking about we need a new credit card. So like, yo, you're doing good, bro. There's one question that was asked. I think Elliot asked if you could just break down those two, the two different dates in terms of interest payment versus when it's reported to the credit bureau. So if you can kind of answer that question, that'd be good. Hold on, are you there? Or did we lose V? All right, so his connection dropped. Let's give him a second. We'll get him back on. Got some technical difficulties. But bring in the questions, Eddie. I see yours. Does adding your kids to credit cards increase their credit? Yeah, we'll get him. Hold on one second. This is him calling me now. Hold on. Yeah, we got. All right, cool. His screen logged off. He's logging back in. But anyways, everybody, look, bring the questions in. We talking credit. I want to make sure we docking everything, we capturing everything. I'm not even going to attempt to try to answer all these questions. I'm not the credit guy. Has not been my thing. But Varney is. There he is. Champ. All right, bro. First question, we just want to, if you could just kind of just answer back the question for the different dates. We talked about where the banks have their dates to kind of capture interest, and then the credit bureau has their dates in which they capture credit. If you could just explain those two dates again. I think Elliot wanted to know.
Awesome. Okay, so again, there's two dates when it comes down to how your scores are calculated. So you want to make sure that you're paying your utilization or paying your credit card balance off by the reporting date. Okay, you can usually find this date on your credit card statement. Sometimes they might call it the statement date, the reporting date, but just to make sure that you're just to make sure that you have the correct date, simply call up your credit card company and just ask them, say, hey, what day of the month do you guys report to the credit bureaus? If they come back and say, hey, we report to the credit bureaus by the 15th, make sure by the 14th that balance is either paid off or that utilization is under the 10%. Okay. And that whatever balance that you have by the 15th, that's the amount they're going to report to the credit bureaus. And that's the amount they're going to use to calculate your credit score. Okay. So the second date is going to be your due date. Okay. And that's where a lot of people get this confused. A lot of people say, hey, they say, on my credit card statement, they say, hey, I have to pay this by this amount. Okay. So your due date is what the banks use to calculate your interest. Okay. So once you start carrying over a balance from month to month, that's the amount the bank's going to use to calculate how much interest they're going to charge you. I hope I answered that question.
Hey, Elliot, you want to just call your bank, bro. Figure out what's the date that's being reported. And most times it's before the due date that they give you. And make sure you're under that 10%, and if not, pay it off. You know what I'm saying? But make sure you're under that cap so you can get good credit. Another question, Chuck, from Eddie Roberts. He wants to know, does adding your kids to your credit cards increase their credit?
Great question. And I think this great question, Everett. This is actually something that I usually recommend with my clients. Hey, once your kids get to that age of 16, 17, and you can simply add them on your credit card as an authorized user. Okay. So now let's just say you have a credit card with Capital One that you had since for 20 years. You had that credit card for 20 years. Guess what? If you add your son on that card as an authorized user, guess what? His credit days is going to go from 0 to 20 years. Okay. His credit limit is going to go from 0 to whatever amount that simply to whatever amount is the limit on that Capital One card. So that's actually a great strategy to use simply to give your kids a head start. So now your kids can be 18. They can at the age of 18 now they can start off with a 760, 780 credit score simply by you using this strategy and having them piggyback off your credit.
Yeah. Now let me say this though, because this ain't a new strategy. A lot of our parents been using this, but unfortunately, they left us messed up, jacked up with bad credit. So if y'all doing this little strategy, just make sure you guys are being responsible in how you're doing it and not wilding out with your kids starting 24 and don't even know they got done $6,000, $7,000 maxed out credit cards. All right, but good question, Eddie. All right, so someone asked, can we get inquiries removed?
Absolutely. So when it comes down to getting inquiries removed, that is something that is fairly easy, and I don't want to go down into a rabbit hole with that whole process. If you guys want, I have a template that I usually send out that I give you step by step on how to call up the credit bureaus, what exactly to say to get those inquiries removed. But just make sure whatever inquiries you're trying to get removed, make sure it's not tied to an open account.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you get that inquiry removed that's tied to an open account, you're jeopardizing that account simply getting removed off your credit report as well.
Good. And guys, listen, man, Varney's part of the family. Like he's part of the Nwangé Investments. I feel like he's an instructor in my programs. So he has programs designed to help y'all get your credit right. And so while we're answering high level, some of you guys may want some more in-depth conversation. We'll make sure we give you Varney's contact. Let him know that look, you came as part of the financial legacy community. There's hopefully some benefits in saying that. We'll get you squared away and taken care of. But good stuff. Now, someone asked a good question. So, how long is the process to raise your score? So, if my score is not good, and I'm trying to buy a house in a year or two, walk me through the process when we can start seeing significant improvement in our credit score.
So, man, great question. It all depends. Most people that's trying to repair their credit, most clients that's in my program are using my program anywhere between 4 to 6 months. But I also had individuals that graduate my program within 30 days, 60 days. And I also had individuals that have been in my program for over a year or even 2 years. So it all depends on the individual's profile, all depends on how fast they're willing to execute the game plan that we put together for them.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, my boy Tom says, what's the most credit cards a person should have?
A sweet spot. Great question, Tom. A sweet spot to have. You want to have at least three to five revolving accounts. 3 to 5 revolving accounts. So 3 to 5 credit cards. It's a nice mix to have.
Good stuff. All right, Elliot's back. He's like, look, man, I grew up. And I'm paraphrasing it, but he said, I grew up never touching credit cards. Till this day, he hasn't owned one. But through research, he's realized like, we got to start building credit, and we want to do it. We need to get a credit card. So his question is, what steps should he take to start building and leveraging credit?
Great question, Elliot. I think the first step will be simply go to the bank that you bank with. And again, I'm not sure what exactly your scores, but a good step we'll start with a secure credit card. Simply, you're gonna put down a deposit, and most secure cards range from anywhere to 200 deposit up to like 5,000 or 2,000, somewhere around there. So you want to start off real small. Start off with a secure credit card. Simply give them 200 in return. They will give you a credit card for 200. Right? But here's the thing too, Elliot. You want to make sure since that credit card limit is so small, like the most you can put on that credit card is $20. Okay, anything over that 10%. Remember, the sweet spot is keep your utilization under 10%. So you want to start off with a secure credit card. Simply get that $200 secure credit card. Then from there, add your Netflix on there to charge it every month, or even add your Apple Music, something real small. And then from there, set up an auto payment to pay it in full. And once you do that, after maybe a couple of months, you'll start to see your scores increase. And then from there, most banks, after a year or after like 6 or 9 months, they will usually give you back your deposit, and then from there, give you an unsecured card with a bigger limit.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. So look, I got a couple questions for you, V. Look, I spent a lot of time obviously working and coaching people in my community, right? We always had, close to 100 people, run through my program. And even as a landlord, I'm pro-Black when I'm trying to look for tenants. I run credit scores. I mean, like it's a big thing before I pick tenants. And I know you kind of talked about kind of why it's important. So I guess here's my question, man. If you could talk about the role that credit plays in home purchasing, credit plays in other things outside of just the liability products like cars and so forth. But even like as far as like renting or like getting somewhere to live, if you could just shed a little bit of light to that.
Great question, Joseph. Now, so simply, man. So like I said in my presentation, 80% of all our major adult milestones that we're trying to hit is simply gonna come back to our credit score. So now we all know that in order to build wealth real fast, we have to get into that we have to get into the real estate space, okay? And in order for you to qualify for a mortgage, it's gonna come down to your credit score. And even when you're out there renting, like Joseph just said, majority of these tenants simply gonna look at your credit score. So now your credit is simply letting them know like, hey, I'm stable, I'm going to be able to pay my rent every month, or you simply letting the banks know like, hey, listen, I'm able to take on this big I'm able to take on this responsibility of simply paying a mortgage. Okay, so there's, like I said, anywhere we go, anything that we're trying to do is simply going to come down to our credit. And especially if you're trying to get into that real estate space, or simply trying to build generational wealth for your kids, and simply starting off by purchasing your first home, you definitely want to make sure that you definitely have your credit credit situation in place.
Yeah. So, bro, like, look, there are people in our community, man, they got some jacked up scores. I mean, I've seen 5s, I've seen 4s. And I think a lot of people just don't know where to start. I mean, give me like just a quick, and obviously we'll connect people to you, but what's a quick game plan if my credit score is that bad? And how long would it take me to touch 6s and touch 7s so I can get some of those decent stuff, decent interest rates?
Great question, Joseph. I think it simply just comes down to, this is something that I see all the time. Majority of the people that usually have those scores simply try to avoid it. Okay, the first thing you want to do is look at your credit report. That's the very first step. Look at your credit report. And there's 80% of credit reports out there have some type of error. Some type of error. Okay, simply if you look at your credit report, you might have a bill on there or a collection account on there that's not yours, or you might have a collection account on your credit profile that's outside of that statute of limitation. So a simple letter that you can simply Google, dispute letter, or if you guys want to send me a message, I can even, I can give you guys some letters that you guys can put in the community where people can simply go ahead and send out their own disputes. So to answer your question, Joseph, it simply comes down to taking the first step, looking at your credit report. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you have a nice mix on there. Do you have any installment accounts? Do you have any revolving accounts? And that right there is another big thing too. Is again, a lot of people are simply just afraid of, hey, I'm using my debit card, I'm fine, I don't want any credit cards. And a lot of people just have that mindset, once I have a credit card, I'm in debt. No, you're not in debt. Once you start misusing that credit card, once you start carrying the balance over and letting those things charge off, now you're in debt. But if you use it the correct way, you don't have to worry about that. You can definitely build you a nice, healthy credit score. And this is an analogy that I like to use a lot, that when it comes down to credit card is like a hammer, right? You can use that hammer to build you something nice, but you can also use that hammer to go ahead and destroy something. So if you understand how to use credit cards, you understand the benefits of it, and you simply use it the correct way, you can definitely build you a nice healthy credit score to 760, 780, or even 800. But if you misuse it, you can definitely destroy your credit score as well.
Okay, we got a question. Says, what's the the statute of limitations for negative things on your credit report?
Great question. So it's the federal statute of limitation. So you have federal statute of limitation, and you have state statute of limitation. The federal statute of limitation okay, is 7.5 years from the date of last activity. So this is simply going back to, again, looking at your credit report. You have to look at the date of last activity. So a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's been 7 years or 7.5 years," and they're simply looking at the date the account was open, which is not the correct area. You want to look at the date of last activity. Okay, then the state statute of limitation vary from state to state, and that's something you can simply Google. If you're in New Jersey, Google what is the state statute of limitation. But the federal statute of limitation, if something is on your credit report outside of that 7.5 years, guess what? They're actually violating your rights, and you need to get that removed.
So Eddie brings us a good point. He says biblical principle: forgive debt after 7 years, which anyone who knows. Say that, yo, Eddie. So let me some money, yo. Holla at me in 7 years, bro. I love it, man. I love it. All right, Sasha asks: Amex versus Chase Sapphire.
Ooh, great question. It all depends on your preference, and I have both of those cards. So it all depends on your preference. Okay, so I'm a big fan of the American Express as far as like used for like traveling. And that's something that me and my wife we use all the time. It's simply when we travel. So the American Express card they have where you get free TSA pre-check. You get the global entry. You get a $20 Uber credit every month. You get a $300 airline credit every year. You get access to their lounges, which is phenomenal. It's top notch. And if you do a lot of traveling, that's actually a great card to have. But again, simply the annual fee on there, hold your breath. The annual fee on there, Sash, I think is like $6.95 now. But again, it pays for itself. It pays for itself. Like the Chase Sapphire card, that card you can simply I think is one of the top cards for that Chase offer. And again, if you use that the correct way, you can simply be able to accumulate points where you can be able to cover your hotel, your flights, and so on and so forth. So to answer your question, I like both of them. Again, it simply just comes down to your preference.
Do you do a lot of travel points? Like I know there's a lot of credit cards attached to traveling, so you kind of utilize it. You can get to travel. Do you use that, and what guidance do you have for the people?
Yeah, that's actually is my thing, and that's something actually me and my wife we actually utilize that a lot, and we actually I want to say majority of our flights that we take, or majority of our trips that we take, we usually end up flying for free. And so again, when it comes down to it, you have to be disciplined enough. Okay, you have to be very, very disciplined. I'm very careful when I'm giving people advice on this, because I had done a couple of these shows where I told you like, hey, yeah, travel points, and a lot of people just go out there and not take care of the current debt that they have, and simply start opening up these cards. Again, you have to be mindful. You have to be very careful when it comes down to these things. All right. So I'm not encouraging you guys to just go out and open up cards just to simply to get points. Make sure you take care of the current cards or the current debt that you have first before you start moving into that avenue. Okay. When it comes down to these points, when it comes down to using these cards for points, simply you can simply get you one of these cards and just have this card replace your debit card. So you can use it for groceries, gas, whatever, your kids' daycare, tuition. We simply use ours for everything. So again, just a disclaimer on it: make sure that you don't have any credit card debt before you just jump out there trying to open up new credit cards to simply take advantage of these hacks. So Joseph, I want to ask the audience something, and this is actually a bonus that I'm going to do. I know how many small business owners do we have on the line with us?
Where my entrepreneurs at? I know I see bugging out. Eddie, where you at? Hey, Myron, Men's Winning Circle, where you at? Kimon, Ideas to Life, where you at? Where my business folks at?
I want you guys to comment on here, and this is actually going to be a bonus I'm going to give you guys. All right. Now, my next question for you guys: How many of you guys are using your own personal money or your own personal credit to grow your business? Chelsea, you had to talk to me because I can't see what it.
I'm saying I'm waiting for a response. So it is a little bit of a delay. So by the time they see it, it's delayed. So Eddie says he's been using his personal for years. He's been doing it for years. Someone else raised their hand and said me.
All right. So this right here, and I feel as though it's something that a lot of us just don't have the knowledge or the information on, as far as building business credit. Okay. So a lot of us, and me, I'm guilty of it. When I started my business, when I was in the real estate space, I was using my own personal money, dumping in. As far as a new realtor starting, there's a lot of overhead costs. And I was using my personal savings, using my personal credit, jeopardizing my personal credit, because I didn't have a clue about business credit. So actually, just like how you have personal credit, you can build you business credit as well. Okay. So with business credit, you're simply building a credit profile for your business. Okay. And once you can build out that business credit, you can get you about 60 to 80,000. I've seen some clients even get 250,000 in capital that they can use for their business. And guess what? Once you build out that profile, guess what? Now, if you do decide, hey, I want to purchase a new vehicle, you can go to the dealership and say, hey, I want to purchase this vehicle under my business credit. If you do decide, hey, I want to get investment properties, guess what? You can get that investment property under your business credit. And the good thing about you doing the good thing about you getting investment property or getting vehicles under your business credit, guess what? It's not going to show up under your personal credit, and that debt is not under your personal credit. Okay. And I feel as though a lot of us just don't have that information about business credit. A lot of us just don't know about it. A lot of them know we can tap into business credit to get the capital that we need. So simply just imagine if you have good credit, if you open up an LLC one and you get, let's say 80,000 for that one. You open up another LLC, you get another 80,000 for it. You open up another one, you get another 80,000. Now you have access to almost $250,000 that you can use to do whatever you want. If you want to go into real estate investment, you have access to that capital. And I feel as though in our community, we just don't have that information.
Well, we got to get you back on to do a straight business credit. Just so y'all know, I'm already lined up to work with Varney for my LLCs to get our business credit right. So if you an entrepreneur and you need business credit to kind of get some stuff done, you need to holler at my boy Varney. All right, like you need credibility behind your business, especially. And I'm talking. My LLC is going to be around building real estate, right? So he's definitely a plug. We fortunate. We got the right guy here, man. Look, I want to say, Chuck, thank you, man, bro, for coming to talk to us. Look, man, it's going to be all in the community. All right, like everything we're doing in this community, I promise y'all content. Y'all ask for it. I'm getting y'all here. We got Varney, an expert, an author. I don't know if you have your book with you, Varney, but this brother's wrote a book on credit, right? It's on Amazon. You need to go cop that book. Start consuming. Start reading. Yeah, there it is. Boost your credit score. Varney Jallah. Go check it on Amazon, man. Hit him up. I'll make sure I have his comments in the community. If you trying to get personal consultation your credit, he's already helping folks in my group. Again, he's part of the family. I advise you do it. Varney, I want to thank you, man. Look, y'all. Two things before we wrap this up. I need y'all to share this thing. We coming in every Thursday, every fourth Thursday of the month. We coming in and we bringing up heat. Next week, we're going to talk about Black Wall Street. And I wanted to do that because it was Black History Month. This one was informative. It was to get y'all on the right bearings. But we're talking Black History Month. And we're talking Black Wall Street during Black History Month. It's time we dig back to our legacy and know who we are and know where our wealth comes from and how do we bring that stuff back. And then lastly, man, I wouldn't do it justice if I didn't bring it up. Some of y'all right now might be just like, hey, look, I get the credit piece, but you're looking at really a holistic financial picture. Here's the deal, man. Like, yes, get your credit right. We want to do that. But the reality is the financial burden that we've been holding as a community that's been killing us for a while, you got to look at this picture holistically. And that's why we have the Financial Legacy Academy, right? If you don't know where to start and you want to figure out, like, how do I budget? How do I invest? How do I get the right insurance? How do I know I have to, that whole 10% utilization, I'm at 80, 90, 100% utilization. You need a game plan. You need a game plan. And I'm giving you the game plan, right? Like, you got the game plan in Financial Legacy Academy. Families have taken this, have been blessed by it. And so I'm encouraging y'all, if y'all can go to just www.financiallegacyacademy.org and start winning with money today. Make the investment, buy the program. You're going to get access to a private Facebook community. You're going to get an assessment. It's going to help you know where you are in your financial journey. And most importantly, man, you're going to get the 9 different courses in that program. 9 courses, yo. Like, this is a $500 value you're going to get for $199. Those courses include money and marriage. Me and my wife did that. Those courses include understanding a will. Those courses include getting a legacy mindset. My boy Myron dropped some heat. Those courses include purpose with my boy Seth. Those courses include entrepreneurship with Kimo. Yo, there's so much courses in there that y'all can start winning. So with that being said, y'all, I love y'all. I need y'all to tune in next week. Lives are being changed. Game changing is happening. Every fourth Thursday, 6 p.m. in the community is going down, yo. I'm going to see y'all, man. Y'all hear from me real soon.
Before Financial Legacy Academy, we were secure in where we were. We were paying all our bills on time. But one thing that we weren't doing is setting aside things that we could use for later.
I was a straight consumer, period. Just used money to spend.
I was a spendthrift. I was like very materialistic, whether it was cars or jewelry or things of that nature.
This class gave us a clear strategy. Financial Legacy brought a certain amount of consistency to what we were doing. Now we were doing things intentionally.
With this class, we've totally invested our money in the right places. We've saved our money. We're more on a budget.
We're in a better financial place.
What we took from it was able to really sit down, come up with a plan together, and really allow ourselves to take our incomes together and grow them.
I think it's really important for the Black community to have a financial legacy because we've literally built America from the ground up. I would definitely recommend this class for anyone who wants to build wealth or wants to invest but doesn't know where to start.
We definitely recommend Financial Legacy.
Because not only is it going to change your current situation, but it's going to help to change the situation for all them cheering that you got coming in the future.